So, going to do a throwback review for you guys today. I wanted to share some of my childhood toys that I still kept all these years. These are the G1, Generation 1 Dinobots that were sold way back in the late 80s. And these are just so incredibly difficult to find nowadays. And I decided to keep them because they had a lot of memories. Actually, they're not all mine. Growing up as a kid, I had Grimlock. I got him for Christmas from my uncle who lives in Canada. My younger brother had Swoop. He's the guy who now lives in Seattle. And my youngest brother, who's a priest, a Jesuit priest, he used to have Sludge. And as I mentioned in my earlier video, they all outgrew the toys, but I decided to keep them. I don't know, they've had great memories, and Grimlock was one of those Transformers that I actually just carried around with me. I loved this particular Transformer. Now, behind them are the Generations counterpart, the updated versions of these classic G1 toys, and I've already done reviews of the Generations figures, so we're not going to need them for this review. They're all banged up, and really, to be honest, they're not even really worth anything. They're probably worth something, but not a lot of money because of their condition. But I just don't have the heart to actually sell these things, simply because of all the nostalgia and memories they have. Now, if you're curious, this is how they stack up against Optimus Prime. This is the G1 Optimus Prime. This is a Takara Tomy version reissue of that old G1 toy. That's why it still looks kind of brand new. Yeah, the scale was much smaller, and one thing about them was they were built tough. I mean, it took forever for them to break, but they did break, and but they were made of tougher materials. In fact, look at the chrome paint on this one, like on Grimlock. It's still on it after all these years. The die cast still there, not rusting or anything like that. It's just, even if you banged and played with these toys for a long time, they'd still hold up. Okay. So why don't we begin with Swoop, since he's the easiest one and he's the most banged up one. As you can see, the chrome should have been looking like this. Fantastic looking chrome. I mean, had this been brand new, everything would have been chrome, and it would have been just a wonderful, wonderful toy to look at. Okay, he had a plastic beak right here. That's the first one to break. Always, all the time. That's always the one to break. And you can see there's a wheel. Apparently these dinosaur modes were vehicles for Takara back in the day. Tomy hadn't bought them yet. So not a lot of articulation. Basic G1 Transformers you'd be lucky if they had swivel shoulders, and that was it. That was the main articulation for the robot. The legs would have been static. This one could barely move because it should be stable, steady like that. The only reason it's kind of moving is because it's loose, and that's the way it transformed. But most of the G1 toys just had these swivels, and that was great back in the day. You could just play with them like that. So transform him into his Pteranodon Alt Mode. What you want to do is you want to collapse the forearms like that, pop the head up like that, and that would be where the beak would be, and then close these chest pieces together, slide the arms in. This one's kind of stuck. I'm not going to force the issue, but that's it. And then the feet, they fold this way, like that, tapped in like this, and there you go. There is Swoop, and as I mentioned, they have wheels, molded in wheels, and would have been a vehicle of sorts or something, but that would have been his Dinobot mode. And they were fun to transform. They weren't as simplistic as the GoBots, but they were a little bit involved, but they were not too difficult to transform, as you can see right here. So let's put Swoop right here and go to Sludge. Now, Sludge was great. He was probably, next to Grimlock, was my next favorite Dinobot. We did have Slag for a while, and then my brother lost it, I think, somehow when we moved houses. We never got Snarl for some reason. Snarl has always been one of my frustrations. I've always wanted a G1 Snarl, and hopefully, maybe I can get hold of one before I put all these behind me. So each one of them had like a sword and a weapon. Like Swoop had cannons and a sword. He would have a long rifle and a sword. So I'm going to put that away. His articulation, as I mentioned, basically this shoulder swivel, a little bit of an elbow action and wrist because of transformation. The feet do move because of transformation. A little bit of a hinge right here, not because of transformation, but they added that. I don't know why. Hinge right here, very loose. There's no real heel spur, so you can tend to off balance. A little bit of waist swivel because of transformation. So let's transform him into his Dinobot mode. All the chrome is all but gone for this guy, like right there. So transform him. I'm gonna go ahead and do this, do that, close that entire chest cavity like that, swivel the waist piece. The arms are gonna go this way, fold the wrists inward like that, the head, tab in right there, still a bit of chrome right there. Okay, and then the feet, I'm gonna fold them out and then fold them back in. Go ahead and flip them. See the similarities of the transformation, very similar to what the generations do now. Oh my god, am I gonna break this? Okay. All right, and then the feet just so loose, they just plop down like that. And then the tail just join like that. And there is the Brontosaurus Alt Mode. And it was pretty cool. There's no way to store the weapons anywhere, so they would just stay there. And finally, we have Grimlock, King of the Dinobots. And he'd have this big cannon right here. He would have like another gun with the missile launcher. And he would have a sword, which I lost. And I don't know. Kind of one of my dreams was really to get a complete set of the G1 Dinobots reissued or mint condition or something like that, but that's near next to impossible right now because Hasbro and Takara told me they lost the molds. So okay, so he's got that swivel arm. His head is a little bit recessed from that huge gold chrome chest. I love it that the gold chrome is still there. Some chrome on the arms and the tail, but he's a little bit recessed, and that's how the G1 toy was. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to pop that chest out. You want to extend the feet or the forearms like that to form the feet. Okay, just keep it like that. You're going to collapse onto the hips. Hips are going to transform this way, and then this way. And the hip and the whole chest assembly is going to collapse down there. Okay, I thought that was a pretty neat transformation. And it's so loose because I kept transforming him. Oh my god, I don't think I can. Oh, I thought for sure it was going to break. So, like that. Even the gold on his toes and the claws are still there. Pretty cool. Close the hatch, the wings. All that dust. 35-year-old dust on these toys. Okay, there he is, Grimlock. He was my absolute favorite Dinobot. Rah, me Grimlock, lead Dinobots, Optimus Prime, me weaker, me Grimlock stronger. Oh my god, that was so cool. Okay, so put them all together, and here they are. Not a bad set of crumbling old G1 toys, and let me put the Optimus Prime back because the light's not doing us any favors. If you have a chance to get original G1 Dinobots at a fairly decent price, I would suggest you go for it. Make sure the weapons are there. There are no broken pieces. If there are loose joints, that's fine. As long as the weapons, the parts are there and no broken pieces, that's a very, very good find. And you know, it's up to you how much you want to pay for it. Depends on the value you put on it. But if you get it for a decent price, I would highly recommend getting these old toys because they're very strong. And back in the day, they were one of the best Transformers toys. And to this day, I would say, a lot of collectors still have high regard for these G1 toys because Hasbro hasn't really done any reissues on them. And I don't think they ever will. So the old vintage ones, the old classic ones from years ago would be very, very expensive. So with that, I hope you've enjoyed this little video review. If you did, please let me know in the comment section below. Let me know what you think of these old just dilapidated G1 Transformers Dinobots toys. Hit that notification bell so you never miss out on any of my latest video reviews. This has been the classic vintage Generation 1 Dinobots Sludge, Grimlock, and Swoop. Thanks for watching.